Whoa. Seriously?
Maybe.
Sandra, aren't you impressed with Naomi playing today?
Am I impressed with what?
Naomi playing.
We had to get off. We had just gotten to the hospital, and so I didn't hear. How'd she do?
Did good. Very good.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm glad you didn't scare her too bad.
Well, if she can hang around you,
This is true.
I'm marshmallows.
That's cute. That's so cute.
So how's Dominic?
He's doing good. Clean bill of health. So everything's good. He's he wants to go work out, but you know what else?
There's no reason why you can't work out.
Oh, yes, there is. So yes, there is. He'll be fine. He's actually in there cooking steak for us now, so can't keep a good man down.
So we have some people here. I mean, John's here. This is not recon, John.
I know. I'm just playing makeup time.
Trying to get on my good then Arne.
I'm not going to get on your good side. What are you talking about?
Elizabeth. Hello.
Arne's making up for lost time too.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be right at 1 o'clock here in a second.
That is not Arne. I know what Arne looks like, and that is not Arne.
Arne and Susan
She has way more hair than Arne does.
You're
And
muted.
she's muted.
Yeah, which is unusual for her.
No, you have to send me the new link, so I could put my name there.
So John, I'm gonna give you co-host if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, guys, welcome. Welcome to Mastery. It's basically November 10th, 2023, and it is Friday, which means it's Mastery Level. When you do recon most of the days of the week, and I got a lot of familiar faces out there, it's hard to remember what day it is. And we have a special treat for you today. John McLeod, who is a very busy team leader in Marco Island, Florida, is with us. And I'll let him do a lot of talking today because I'm tuckered out. How you doing, John?
You know, Denny, it's I was just going through an email from the leadership at MAPS, and one of the things that they pointed out is that these role play calls are where people need to be going. So as coaches, we've been instructed to send our clients to this and to recon to talk about fire agency discussions.
Yep.
So doesn't have to be the topic today. However, that is going to be coming up a lot in the future, as it should. And there's no way that's Lori Johnson.
No, sir. I got to change my name. I don't know why it does that.
I was, you know, I don't want to make any assumptions. I'm almost 100% certain that it is not Lori Johnson.
100%.
So, Isom, how you
Denny,
doing, my
what did you
friend?
guys cover this morning?
I'm doing well, Denny. Thank you.
Yeah, well, let's go a couple different things. Mastery level role play. Thanks for being on it. That's my email. If you have any emails for me, it's coachdannygrimes@gmail. Make note of that. It is November 10th, 2023. And what we work on is mastering questions, mastering question-based list enhanced conversations. So what do you guys have on your plate? Some of you guys were on the earlier call today. And I do have, John, you're right. When I was on the bold call, there's a list of 10 things that were discussed, best practices on how to handle compensation. So as we move forward next week in recon, and even next Friday on the master call, we will be talking more about that. So one thing that I do want to share with you, if you don't have the recon information, there it is, to take a shot of that. And you can join us. A lot of you guys are on recon. That's daily, 8:30 to 9 Central Time. I did share the thought of the day, and I asked a question. Let me just share with you guys. My goal in mastery is this: is to hone down and to make whatever presentation style you have better. Not everybody has the same style, and you don't have to follow mine or John's or whatever. However, a good coach will find little things in your swing that will help you get more club head speed and hit the ball further. And I think that one thing that I like to maybe brag on a little bit is that I had one of my agents trying out for team listings today, and I had a couple of my younger agents watching, and she was doing a great job. And I was just able to give her some things to think about. Yesterday in Bold, people were talking about making payments, and I was taught a long time ago, it's not about monthly payments, it's a monthly investment. So here's the, John, I shared this at Bold. I just talked about it a little bit on Recon today, and I shared it at Bold, and it totally whacked people out. And this was a question: when listing a home, what's more important, the address of the property or the address of the property owner? And that's kind of a funny way of asking the question. Where should we put our focus? And here's the thing that I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I don't believe we list property. I believe we list property owners. We can sell any home, anything out there, any condition, as long as we have the right owner. So if you start with that and realize that we should basically, if Gary says we should be the local economist, Gary Keller, local economist, the choice on our market, we should study the market. For every hour you put into studying the market, you had be putting 2 hours into studying human nature and how to handle conversations, how to see minor little things or hear little things in their voice to help us to better understand the property owner. So what are your thoughts on that, John?
I think that's an awful lot of wisdom. And listing, and I hadn't thought of it from this way before, Denny. You're listing the property owner, not the property. Because the relationship, and we talk about this in the morning almost every day, it's a relationship business, and you're having a relationship with the owner of the house. You're not in a relationship with the house, right? So I think that's a fantastic way of getting a different mindset and trying to wrap ourselves around a little bit about ways that we can think about this business just a little bit to put us a better edge especially when competing against other agents. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted right now because I can't believe that it's cold enough in Houston for Sandra to be wearing a winter jacket.
Yeah, well.
So, all right, Denny, before we get to Susan, you just had 470 versus 405 up on your screen. Was that there on purpose?
Yeah, that was one of my, you said that was a lot of wisdom I shared. I don't want to share too much wisdom in one day. It would make me go to sleep all weekend. So, so all the numbers. And so basically that you got excited. So who's up first today, John, that we can do some major polishing on?
The agent formerly known as Arne, also known as Susan Jung.
All right, Susan. I have a feeling what this is going to be. What do you want to polish today, Susan?
So, I do a lot of outbound calls, and basically Expire is my ticket to the now business. And because I'm a high D, high I like that I'm not a nurturer, but I learned to become a nurturer. So I prospected this lady, she was selling her condo and wants to buy a house. I engaged her. I went to the listing appointment, and then I showed her some homes that she wants to buy. Then she said, well, it's too much money. Let's retool. Let's see what she can get more out of getting a VA loan, disability with a VA. And then I'm going, okay, that's fine. So I followed her a week after week. And then all of a sudden she ghosted on me, like not responding to my text call. What do you say to get them to engage with you again?
Okay.
Like change, like what happened?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't go like this anymore, John. Back in the oldie golden days when I was showing property, we actually had the buyers, either, ride with us or follow us. And it's never a good sign when you look in the rearview mirror and the buyers are turning off and leaving you, ghosting you, right? So let's ask some questions. So what questions would you be asking you guys? Okay, this is the mastery level. Let's get below the surface. If you have somebody ghosting you, what are some possible reasons for that? Who wants to have a little discussion before we role play it?
So
If-
if somebody goes to you, they are likely, they don't think that what you have is relevant. They may not trust you. They may not feel like this is right for them. They may not feel like this is right for them at this moment in time.
Okay. A general statement, would you suggest that something has changed? Or, that's one, or something that was never discovered by us has, well, it would be the same thing. Something's changed. So it
Yeah.
could be everything from she was abducted by a UFO. I mean, she's maybe has a health issue, something's going on in her life, or it could be with the relationship, her motivation. So let me just ask a couple of questions, Susan / Thorne. What do you know what has changed?
I don't know what has changed because after when we saw home, I got her connected with the lender and then we were going back and forth. And then I thought maybe I'll just give her a call once a week. So this is my weekly call and then it kind of like died down.
Got it. Did she take your calls?
Yes, she used to take my calls.
Okay. Well, let's have a role play. I know that although my wife and I don't live in the same house, if she wasn't coming home anymore, I could say something's changed. And so you might want to do a little digging and to find out maybe what has changed. So I'm going to let me have a minute. Then John, you take a minute, then somebody else can take a minute. I'm calling you, John. You have ghosted me. Well, you're taking my calls. By the way, if they're taking your calls, that's probably a good sign, right? So I'm calling you, John. Ring, ring.
Hello,
Hey, John, this is Denny. How are you doing?
good, Denny, how you doing?
Thank you for taking my call. Hey, listen, do you have a quick minute?
Sure.
I'm a little confused. I mean, we had been working together on finding a new home. I don't have all the details. We don't need all the details. And I noticed lately you seem to have cooled or something. No, watch this. Something's changed in your motivation to have the new home. Am I imagining things or not?
No, I don't think anything's changed, Denny.
Okay. Well, then going back to original conversation, you're still interested in moving forward based on original conversation a month or so ago.
Yes, still interested in moving forward.
Okay, well, I'm a little bit now again that's Susan's client, and then you're saying nothing's changed. That I guess is a possibility. Could it be your imagination, Susan?
It could be, but this is like my fourth call and text to her. So I just left it yesterday. I left a message and a text, and then I also, I came from like, hey, I need help. One of my client needs some VA stuff. Can you give me some information? So no response. I just texted this morning and say, hey, I left you messages and text. I'm not sure if I offended you in any ways. If I did, I'm sorry, but love to hear from you. Give me a call back. And left it as that. And got nothing so far.
So Denny,
Can I ask a question?
yeah, go ahead, Sandra.
Hey Susan, have you ever thought to ask her, is everything okay with you health-wise? And you could word it in a way that maybe something happened, maybe she was in a car wreck or is in the hospital or something, and just, hey, Sally, I was just wanting to check on you. I just haven't been able to connect with you. I'm hoping that everything's okay. Could you just give me a call back and let me know, that you're okay? And a lot of times we've had people respond to that.
Okay. I'll do that
And
next
how about
time.
this for a spin? I know that some of us has been a while since we've been on the dating and courting scene. However, if somebody is ghosting you, does that mean they no longer want to date?
It can be, yeah.
Or does it mean they no longer want to date you?
They no longer want to date me, perhaps.
Okay. So that's kind of the angle I was taking with this, Denny, is my motivation hasn't changed, but maybe the agent that I want to work with has changed, because most of the times when you get ghosted, it's not anything other than a personality connection that is causing that. Because if you had the connection, they would answer the phone and say, you know what, Susan, we just decided the timing isn't right. Here's the reason. You've got a health issue, but my parents are going to nursing home, whatever the case is. Okay, if you have the connection, they are likely going to answer the phone and be honest with you about it. If you don't have the connection, that's going to be more often than not the reason for the ghosting.
Fair. I put back behind me the 5 mindsets of a buyer or seller, and it may be hard to read, but I'll read them to you in a second. Going back to Sandra's comment is I like what came to my mind, Sandra, when you said that, hey, listen, it could be a text or a call. Hey, listen, Sandra, I was worried about you. And it's not like you not to respond. Are you okay? And maybe that's kind of the same way of checking in. What I'd have you take a note of, here's what I want you to write down. Get out of judgment and get into curiosity. Don't start playing your own song, your tape, and making you the center of it, or have I offended you? Now, interesting you said that, Susan. What I know you're a D and DI, and you can be really direct. It may have nothing to do with that. The other thing we teach here, and it takes fortitude to do this. If there's a question that needs to be asked, ask it. Because there's probably the right way and a wrong way to ask anything. My wife and I say this all the time to people on our team. Makes sense, John. John, you can tell me anything you want. You just can't say it any way you want to.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. That is not what you said, is how you said it.
Right.
Is also the cause of many relationship issues. So yeah, you can say anything you want, but you can't say it any way you want to, right? So I'm going to go back to that. This is probably a connection point, and you still have the opportunity to repair it.
You would.
As opposed to a motivation point. Does that make sense?
Well, if you go to the 5 things that it's hard to read, everyone you're talking to is in one of these 5 categories. Number 1, they're not interested right now in buying or selling at this time. They're not interested. Number 2 is they have a latent interest in buying or selling, but it hasn't really bubbled to the top. So they might have an embryo of an idea like moving. Number 3, they decided to buy or sell. Now here's Susan. Here's where we have to pay attention. If they have decided to buy or sell, that's number 3. If that's yes, number 4 is they've decided to buy or sell. Now they're trying to figure out if they want to use an agent to help them. That's 4. And number 5 is, yes, I'm decided to buy or sell. Yes, I'm going to use an agent. My last question is, am I going to use you? You need to find out where they are in that spectrum. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Hey,
Joe.
Denny, I need to step out for just a second. Give me 5
Of
minutes.
course. I
It's
wasn't
perfect
expecting.
timing. Listen, you can't get an entire day without me ditching you at some point. Sorry about this. I'll be right back, guys.
All right, no problem. I wasn't expecting you anyway, John. Let's go to number next. Who is ready to go? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Come on, let's go. Liz, you've got your camera on. You ready to go? Isom, hey, Isom, I tell you what, we had a call. And did you work on, he's an ISA guy, so there's a lot of outbound calls for a team. And we had a great call. He was one of the winners. And so if I owe you a call, just let me know, Coach Danny Grimes at Gmail. And have you incorporated any of the changes? If so, let's debut them here. You got Susan here and I don't know if Matt's on, and we'll give you our thoughts.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I did incorporate the intro that you helped me craft out. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Denny, this is Isom Chappelle. I represent a team of local realtors. And I was just curious about the property on 123 Main Street. if you were able to get the price you wanted for that property, would you still be a seller?
This is expired, right?
Yes.
We're not really sure. I mean, we were excited about selling. Now we're a little bit disenchanted.
Okay. What exactly happened with your listing that got you dejected?
It didn't sell.
Mm-hmm. And did your agent share any reasons why it didn't sell?
He was really saying it's really a market issue.
Okay. Now, I'm just curious what you think, because our team sold over 90 properties last month in the same market. Do you think it could be something other than the market?
I hadn't given it any thought. I mean, I hear everything's bad news out there, and my agent said it's just the wrong time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Denny, I'm not sure if your agent is aware, but there are other people out there selling properties in the same market. And I'd love to give you the opportunity to see what it is that we have to offer and perhaps get that property sold for you at a price that makes you happy. How does that sound?
Yeah, we might consider that. I think we're going to just give it a little bit of a break right now. Maybe wait until after the first of the year.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen after the first of the year to help you sell your property?
We just get through the call. You know, we're going to decorate, not worry about potential people coming through. I think would just be a better time for us mentally.
Okay. Is there any other reasons that you would wait until next year?
No.
Okay. So it sounds like you having personal space over the holidays is important to you. Is that correct?
Personal space.
Yes, you mentioned.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So what I would love to show you is how we can sell your property without having a lot of open houses and people walking through your property. How does that sound to you?
That's fine. I'm giving you a call back after the first of the year.
Okay. So can we pause here, and can you tell me if in the beginning I started going down the line of questions and I ignored the motivation? Do you think that's where I tripped up?
Well,
Because
when you say tripped up, I mean, obviously you were attempting to get me to move faster, and we have the slide. We show this every now and then. I'll pull it up.
Mhm.
It's that you were attempting to get me over to pain or
Mhm.
it didn't talk about motivation. And there's a fine line, you guys, and I'm learning from you guys, because we talk about it every day at Recon or every Tuesday, Thursday, then on this call. There's a fine line between closing for the appointment. Now, understand, Isom is the ISA. He's the one that sets the appointments for his team. Somebody else goes on the appointment, but still, there's a fine line between getting motivation and drilling too deep, too long, and not getting the appointment. Fine balance. And I think it comes from practice, and the skill that I think is going back to, if we list the property owner, not the property, the skill is being able to pick up the message, what they're saying. The meta message is what they mean by what they're saying. And here's the important one, what they're not saying. And there, I think it's kind of like a doctor. I mean, not every appendix is the same. You got to know how deep to cut and where to cut, blah, blah, blah. So what do you think? You guys, Susan, other people are making outbound calls. Isom is a sponge. What do you think about his 2-minute call?
I like that. He actually is asking good questions, and he's actually taking control of where the conversation is going. However, if you're gonna get into someone, because I know when like this morning, people are just digging heels. Nope, they answer you. Nope, not interested. Nope, not selling. And then they follow with a click. They're not gonna stay on the phone with you, and that's where I get tripped up, because you only have, like, you're taking 30 seconds out of their life, and you want to be very quick in a conversation. So what I do now, and I'm getting a little bit better response back, is, people don't just wake up one morning and decide to sell a home. What put that on your radar? And that's when they start talking to me. I use that script, and I got people to respond back and tell me more why.
So what is the script, Susan? What do you say?
Oh, I said, well, people, I'm not interested. That's their answer. And then I said, well, people don't just wake up one morning and decide to sell their home. What put that on your radar?
And does that slow them down from hanging up?
Yeah. And then they're like, well, we were gonna move. This guy this morning, he's like, well, I was gonna move out of state, but I'm renting it out now.
Let me ask you this, because we get whoever wants to go next to go next. If there's the 5 mindsets from, hey, I'm not interested at all, blah, 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 and they're an expired, they're probably not number 1. They're probably not number 2. They're probably, well, they went all the way down to at least 4. And they picked an agent. So if it's going to expire in 24 hours, they don't go back to a 1, do they?
No.
There's an emotional block there. So there's somewhere here. They're certainly not 5. They may hate agents, so not at 4, but they still want to do something. They still want to move. And so I'm going back to your original question, and for everybody else, the motivation, unless it was a job transfer or something else externally happened, they probably still have the motivation. Unless, and here's the one thing we never talk about. Is it possible they made the decision not to sell before it expired?
It's possible, yes.
And you know what? Wouldn't that be a good question?
Yes, it would be.
The agent wouldn't let them out of the listing. And so rather than like cause a big ruckus, they just basically unplugged, weren't cooperative with showings. The motivation could have changed 3 months before it expired. I think that would be a great question to ask. Well, let me ask you, when did you decide not to sell some time ago, or was it in the last 24 hours since your home fell off the market?
Okay.
What do you think of that question, you guys?
That's a great question.
Okay. Any other comments on that role play from Isom? His 2 minutes. All right, good. I'm going back. I got cameras on. Is it Liza? Is it Liza? Elizabeth, Sandra, Matt, come on. I can't do this alone.
I'm scared. This is a first, so go for it.
All right, is it Liza?
Liza. Yeah, like Liza Minnelli.
Got it. And where are you?
Goodyear.
Got it, okay.
I just joined KCN on Archie Dean's team in Goodyear.
Good, and you are you with a team, are you a team or a solo agent?
I'm a team on Archie Dean.
You're Archie's team and you work with buyers then?
I'm fairly new, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to be. I definitely don't want to be with buyers. I want to do listings.
Good. All right. Let's go. Susan,
Okay.
you're going to be a listed interview. And well, I'll tell you what, this is what I want to do. We've been working on this in the bold class. So you're calling in, and do you guys have a system for when people call in? Hey, Liza, somebody gave me your name. We're thinking about selling. We want to move to, we want to move to Tucson. And would you come meet with us? So that's an easy training wheel call. Everyone should have some sort of a profile type sheet, a questionnaire, incoming listing questionnaire that you should rehearse. There's some great questions you could be asking, and there's some dangerous questions. How would you like to have that?
I don't really have anything, so I'm just kind of
Well, guess what?
going.
What if you had a call like that today? Would that be good?
So I did just have something. So we own a business here. So I was going to work from home today, and I'm doing all of my Zoom calls. My husband had a client come in, and he said something about, yeah, you know what? We own a house in Litchfield Park. Oh, that's right. I heard you're a realtor, right? Yeah. Well, we want to sell, but then we really don't. But then we're thinking about renting. But we don't want to do that because, I've heard a bunch of horror stories and I don't want to sell my house because buying a new one, and it kind of went into that. So, I did actually get his information, just to twist everything where it's like he only owes $100,000
Hang on, we don't need the details. Hang on, this is a role play. All right, Susan can be that. Susan is that the seller. Guess what? We're gonna get to rehearse that conversation. So she just said all that to you, and now you're, Susan came into your office, you met, now you're sitting face to face. Go.
I'm the agent or she's the agent?
She's the agent.
Okay, so yeah, now you know my story. So what do you think I should do?
Well, there's actually a couple things that I can help you with. So what is the reason that you're actually looking to get out of the house that you're in now?
Well, I only owe $100,000 on it. I could rent, but then I'm like I say, I don't know. I'm looking to move to Arizona.
Okay. What's in Arizona for you? What makes you want to move to Arizona?
Well, I certainly don't like the weather here anymore. So Arizona at least is a little bit drier, and it has that 2 season, which I like.
All right. So is there something specific that you're looking for? I don't even know where to go from here. I just got my information.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's fine. Then we'll help you. Why don't you then, can you be that person?
Okay. So
So-
Liz, thanks for letting me know that you're looking to move to Arizona and you have a little bit left. What is it that you really want to do? What do you see happening in the next 3 to 6 months?
No, I'm gonna stop you. Why did you ask 2 questions?
Why what?
Why did you ask 2 questions?
Well, it's because I want to lead them, give them a choice. Because I have certain ways in taking the conversation too.
Well, wouldn't you be better off asking 1 question at a time?
Yes.
Well, okay, this is how I know you guys, it's like, you may not like being interrupted, but this is the best way I can drill down because I can't remember everything. So just keep going. All right, go back to 1 question though and ask 1 at a time. It's like if you send 2 texts, you're only get 1 answer.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, go back on whatever your first question is.
Liza, what is it that you and your family like to do?
Well, the family kind of grew. So I want to move to a different house. And then I was kind of thinking about renting this one out, but I've heard a lot of horror stories about landlords and tenants and coming in and destroying the house. So I know the interest rates are kind of high, so I think I just want to stay at this one.
Okay, so the interest rate you think is high, and then you may be thinking of renting it. There's a couple of options that I can sit and walk you through. Well, I'm over there. There's a couple of options we could discuss about. One is if you rent it, potentially there may be some mishap and the unbearable having to do with plumbing at 12 o'clock at night. Those are one thing. The other thing, you think the interest rate is high. It's not so much the interest rate that's high. It's
Right.
really the home that you're looking for.
Hang on. All right, now you're telling.
I think
So-
she's giving too much information.
Yeah, that's too
Okay.
much. So let me give you an example how I do it. First of all, when she said, well, we're thinking about when we want to move, whatever, and we know a little bit about the motivation. What did you learn? Well, we think maybe we'll rent this out, but we heard the horror stories. That piece right there. Now, remember I said what they say, the meta message or what they mean when they say, and what they didn't say. What didn't she say that is a key to this whole process? Right there, that section right there. What did you not hear that's important?
A true motivation.
Well, could be. Here's what I heard. She doesn't have to sell to buy.
Right.
Now, isn't that an important piece of information?
Yes, it is.
So that's the thing I want you to listen for, because she's thinking about renting it out. So let me ask a couple questions to Liza. All right, Liza. So what is the main reason that all right, so you setting aside the interest rates. Sometimes it's good just to clear the plate, setting that aside. What is the main reason you want to move?
Family is growing. Or family has grown.
Okay, remember she said that before. What does that, not you, Liza, what does that mean to you?
She needs a bigger house. Her family, she's had more kids, or maybe the in-laws have moved in with her, or
In other
she
words,
needs a generational house.
we don't have enough information yet, right? This is where I want you to slow down and quit being a problem solver and start getting clarity. All right, so you said your family's grown. Was that you? I see now when I talk, sometimes I forget what I said. So your family's grown. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So they are getting older in age, so they don't have any little ones, but I think I want to invest.
Okay, now I am totally confused.
Yes.
You're talking in terms of it's not her family, is you're saying they. Is this
Yes.
your family or somebody else?
No, so this was the person that I had just talked to right before this. That
Yeah,
was
but
the same.
Yeah, but you've got to be them in role play. You can't be you. You got to be them. So what do you mean the family's growing?
I think it's more of just invest. Because okay, so we're gonna be empty nesters and they want to rent. I want to rent, sorry.
Okay, so
To rent out everything.
you want, what is your motivation? I'm going to go back. I'm unclear. I'm the Uber driver. I don't know where you're going yet. So you guys don't be afraid to ask for clarification. And you have more than 3 minutes in real life, right? So help me. Is your motivation to leave this house to buy another one so you could rent this one out?
Yes.
Now here's where I want you thinking. I'm talking to everybody now, not you, Liza. Well, why in the heck just don't you stay here and buy something else to rent it out? If your goal is to rent it out, why don't you keep this as your home? We'll help you find another investment property. Is that what you want to do?
But she did say her family's growing.
Yeah, but then she stopped and said, no, we want to invest.
So Liza, you had to be clear with your client and just say, hey, what is your true goals, basically? What are you trying to get out of this?
So the
Or
family.
what's got the higher priority, you know?
Yeah, but I don't want to know what the family is. You are that family. We learn here by role play. I don't want to hear the horror stories of all those people. You are that person. What we're demonstrating is how you would peel this onion back.
Okay.
So just like Susan came on in Arne's name, I want you to be that client and let's help. And you guys can pitch in with questions because right now, I'm not clear. So what is your motivation? You're now that person that your husband talked about. Why do you want to sell? Or no, bad. Why do you want to move?
I like how Matthew,
No, wait, let Liza answer the question. So he's asking you, okay, so you're gonna be your potential client. So
Yes,
why are y'all wanting to move?
I think now it boils down to investment.
Wait a minute.
So hang on. So
I know, I'm just as confused as he is because I didn't ask the right questions, but I did get the information. So I don't know.
Your potential clients are saying that they're more interested in investing as opposed to moving.
Yes.
Okay. Does that help, Coach?
It doesn't matter. I just you need to when you're role playing, you need to stay in role.
I'm sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
This is a learning experience. Is that, for example, all right, Sandra, I'll just come to you. So
Okay.
you are that person now. You don't have to know all the details. So what is the number one reason why you're wanting to move, Sandra?
We want to have investment properties.
Okay. And so are you saying you want to sell the house you're in and move into another house to live in and use this for an investment property?
Not necessarily. We can stay here in this house and purchase another home as investment.
Now we've made some progress. Because, all right, I'll stand real quick. So, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you can do whatever you want. So you have a magic wand. Are you 100% satisfied with the home you're in to live in?
Yeah, it satisfies our needs.
Awesome. So
Now,
then,
if you found me another house, Mr. Grimes, that was just over the top, I'd move into that one and keep this one as an investment property.
okay, well, which way you have the magic wand, which way would you want it to go? Because if you're 49-51 and 51 is to find another house because you something newer, closer to whatever, then we should start that way. And if it's there, then we could do that. So versus starting with investment. So which would you rather start with?
I'd rather start with a bigger home that has a few more amenities that we don't have. Find that home and go ahead and convert this one to an investment property.
Okay, and so what she's not saying but implying, so then if that house is out there, we find it. You don't have to sell this one first, correct?
Correct.
So if that's I don't know if druthers is the right word, but I remember saying it before. If that's your priority, then do you think that would be the best place to start?
Yeah, where else would we start?
Well, we could start by looking for an investment property. And versus starting.
Can we not do both?
So can I ask a question? When in this scenario? Excuse me. In this scenario, when your client is indecisive, like they have no idea, I actually would go down both ways. I would address the rental part and the possibility of the negativity, because you say that a horror story, right? So I want to go down to that horror story, take you to that pain and let you make decision on that. And then I could also say, well, if you're thinking about getting an investment or buying another home, then I'll take you to the pleasure of owning a bigger home and having your kids grow up in it. Because I use this with one of my my potential seller and buyer. And I say, look, your kids are growing in the high school now. Do you want to buy a house after when they leave high school for their enjoyment, or do you want to do it sooner than later? And I take them down both paths. And then he's like, you know what, you're right.
Well, we can go on to something else. I just think that when going, for me, you can't do both. You can, but I don't think it's best. Because if you're going to go down both roads at once, what happens if you find the investment property first? And she would rather really find the house near the country club. So I would go for number one first and spend, you don't have to spend years doing it. And then at least look in that bin. If it's not there, I'd go into another one. So I don't know if that helps you, Liza, but if anything, what we're demonstrating, you have to get clarity. And you only do that by asking.
I'm a horrible role player. I'll get
No,
better.
you're not. No, you're not.
No.
No.
And no, you're not a horrible role player. So let's demonstrate something else. Who's got something else, and we'll learn from this, right? Who wants to go next? Oh man, time's flying. I've got one. Let's go. Susan, you start talking about interest rates. We haven't talked about that in a while.
Okay.
And this could be part of Liza's friend's client. I don't want to buy right now because interest rates are too high. Go.
All right, Denny, it's not so much of the interest rate, aside from interest rate, what really is the motivating factor for you to decide not to move forward?
Now, what really is? Now that implies like I'm not telling you what really is my problem.
Perhaps.
Okay, well. That's pretty direct, but you're implying that I'm not really telling you the truth. When you say what really is the issue?
Aside from that, what is important to you not moving forward?
No, it's really simple. Other than that, just other than that.
Other than that, what's more
Any,
important to you?
any other reason why you wouldn't buy? No. Interest rates are wacky.
I understand that. So if you were currently you're renting or you like do you own?
All right, so Liza, you're new. Anybody else new here? That's one of the first questions you want to find out. Are they a renter or owner? Well, I own.
Wonderful. Now, I'm not quite sure how much you have on it or your mortgage payment. Let's say your mortgage payment is $3,000 a month. And you're looking to upsize to a 5-bedroom, 2-bath house, and that's going to cost you an additional $300,000 more. That turns out to, in relation, you may be paying $1,000 more for this particular home. Is that something that you're open-minded to?
Now, that's not really a conversation. What she was doing, I think, was making some assumptions of where we were in the role play and put some numbers on it. So she just fast forwarded to that. So you're saying, so that based on what I want and what I'm looking for, it's going to cost me $2,000 or $200,000 more?
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah, well, you just made my case. I don't want to pay $200,000 more.
So you are, then the reason why you want to move to a bigger home,
Well, we're renting.
you're
We want-
currently renting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, I'm
so-
sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm switching on you. Yeah, we own, but the home is too small for us.
Right. So if you were to move to a bigger home, what would it do for you and your family?
Well, we've got, we want all of our kids to have their own bedrooms. And right now I've got the twins, they're sharing a bedroom.
The twins are sharing a bedroom, and now that they're growing, you want them to have their own room, right?
Yeah.
So by moving, they will have more privacy, and that's going to set your life a little bit easier. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, now, again, I would, if I was coaching you one-on-one, you're suggesting, you're trying to mind read me. Why don't you just ask me why I want them to have their own room?
Okay, you're right. How come you want your kids to have their own room?
Or what's important about having their own room? That's a softer way of saying it.
Okay. What is
Yeah.
important about having a room?
I mean, I grew up that way. That's why I want my kids to be not can have their own stuff, and maybe I don't have to be a referee half the day, half my time.
Okay. Now, Denny, if I could show you a way, oh God, I hate that. If I can, if let's say the mortgage is about $1,000 more each month, and that breaks down to 30 days, it's probably about $33 per day. And that's gonna make your family happy. Is that worthwhile?
But you can't fast forward here. I want to hear your conversation, and so other people can learn. How do you get me to that?
Okay. So, Denny, right now your mortgage is about $3,000, and you want to move to a bigger home that's going to cost you $1,000 more. Is that something that you're willing to consider?
I mean, will I consider it? Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't really want to spend $1,000 more a month. If I wait, interest rates will come down, I won't have to do that.
That's right, Denny. So for the home that you're gonna buy, that $1,000 more, if you break down that by 30 days, it's roughly about $33 a day. Does that make sense?
I understand the math, yeah.
Okay, so are you willing to forego that $33 a day and be uncomfortable in the household that you're in right now?
Okay, now you asked that negatively. How would you ask that positively?
Are you willing to forego,
That's negative.
are you? Oh my
Is
gosh.
here's where I want you to go. I mean, there's two ways you can do it. This is what mastery is all about. Is it worth $33 a day for your kids to have their own room and grow up like you did?
Okay, is it worth? Oh my gosh, now I'm on this. Is it worth?
And then
30
divide it amongst the kids.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Sorry, they're twins, half it. You crazy?
And you don't have to divide it because you've probably got a favorite one of the twins anyway. So you can actually
Terrible.
put it
That's
differently.
funny.
Yeah,
So Susan, I know I'm using a little rubbing compound on you. So is it okay?
absolutely.
All right. Well, we have time for one more. And so let's step in, Liza. We're gonna help you out. This time I want you to be you want to work with a listing. So you can this is a starting point, baseline for you. I'm going to give you a minute and a half. Well, hey, listen, Liza, somebody gave me your name at the gym that you're a local real estate agent, and we're going to be selling our house, in the next month or so. Tell me a little bit, why should I consider hiring you? Now,
Well, I've
that's
never had one of
a question you can get like today.
that's a loaded question. So I guess I'd first start with their contact and how they knew me and
Hang on.
So-
Hang on, you're doing it again. We are role playing.
I know, I don't, okay. I don't know the answer. So, I am a listing advocate. I help sellers with everything that they need. If you don't mind me asking, where are you? Where's the listing? What's the address?
So now that's a great move. And now what are you doing? You're asking questions. It's over there in Tropical Isles.
Oh, okay. Have you lived there long?
Yeah, we've been there about 8 years.
Oh, okay, nice. Is it just you by yourself or?
No, it's my wife. God rest her soul. No, it's me and my wife.
All right. And what is the reason that you're interested in selling?
Now, isn't she doing a fabulous job, you guys? I mean, you're getting into motivation. Look at that. Yeah, well, we need more space. I mean, now you got a great friendly, you're on a roll. You've got another 30 seconds, you'll be done. Oh, yeah, we need a bigger house. We've got children on the way.
Oh, okay. And then, shit.
And my question is,
Sorry.
why should I use you?
Okay. Well, you know what? I am a specialist in the area. If you don't mind, can I get some of your information? So that way we can set up a meeting if you'd like. I can get you all.
We're having the meeting at the little protein shake bar in the gym. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Why should I mean, you look like you're young, like out of high school. Why should I use you?
Well, actually, I have a lot of experience behind me. I started my real estate career back in 2008, and I specialized in short sale foreclosure resource certified.
It's enough. You pass.
Okay.
Any feedback for her? I thought now she's getting the hang of the role play, right? Good job.
So when someone asks me, how are you different? It's the same question as, how are you, why should I hire you? I would say, that's a loaded question, but what are you looking for in an agent? You kind of ask them what's the expectation?
Yeah.
And I would say, due to the fact that I've been in the industry for so long, I've got experience that's invaluable, so I know how to take care of you compared to some of your younger agents, and then I used what Kristen has said before too. Who would you want, landing that plane on the Hudson? Did you want an inexperienced pilot, or did you want, what was his name? Sully? Yeah. So I've used that a couple of times, and it's just been awesome. Just know your value.
Yeah, that was very well done, Liza.
Thank you. Sorry.
Well, I'm not going to keep you unless you guys. I'll go all the way. We have eight minutes left. I'll go the whole 8 minutes if you want. As long as you have something to talk about. I just don't want to blab. I don't want to unbore you.
Yeah. So going back to that last question, why should we hire you? What do you feel about a response like this? So, Denny, I'm not sure if I'm the right agent for you at this time. Why don't you explain to me what's important to you? How does that sound? Is that too forward?
No, I think that's kind of what Susan was talking about is like, okay, like the server, what should I order here at this restaurant? Well, what are you hungry for?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, and I know that Kristen has this, many of you might have it. Well, I'll tell you what, we found that, you know, that sellers are looking for 5 things. And they'll make, I mean, 5 is kind of maybe 3 things. It's easy to remember, like, you know, the integrity and experience and blah, 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 whatever they are. Where are you? What's your top considerations on that list of 5? Now you're at the gym, so you won't have all 8. However, in your listing presentation, you could have a sheet of 8. Here are the 8 things that, you know, sellers typically are looking for. What is your top? Well, I want somebody's got experience and basically kind of like a bottom line guy. I don't have a lot of time. I'm going to get the job done. And guess what?
Okay.
You answer the questions based on what they want.
Got it. I like that.
When you talk about that list, is it an actual list or you just give them a bullet points of most sellers are looking for?
Well, no, it actually comes from when Gary Keller does his State of the Union, I guess it's kind of called every year. They actually post the results of surveys from buyers and sellers. Here's the things that are most important to buyers and sellers today, and that lists these things and what percent. And so you can take that information, create, here are the 7 things, 8 things that sellers are looking for in an agent right now. And that'll get better as we start working on the lawsuit. And here are basically what, you know, buyers, you know, the buyers are looking for in their buyer's agent. So we have to get a little bit sharper into our value proposition. My last point I'll leave with you guys, unless you have something else, is this. I've said it before, but I don't know how long ago I said it. Everything we do is for them. So when you talk about a loyalty agreement, it's not a buyer loyalty agreement. It's really an agent loyalty agreement, right? We're not trying to put handcuffs on them for us. We're putting handcuffs on us for them. That's the mindset we need. And to what degree we can do that, and we understand that we're working for them, the better and more likely they're going to accept what we're having to offer. Thoughts on that?
So I don't know if you guys heard about this book called Ninja Selling. If you guys read it or heard of it.
What's it called?
Ninja Selling.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's the guy from Colorado. Yeah.
So I think that book, I think the appendix kind of spell out how we should really approach and asking better questions and being servitude rather than about us. So because I've been with Kellerman for the past 5 years, I like the concept, what he's teaching us through that book, the MREA book, and comparing this book, the Ninja Selling, it actually just make me more, and to your point, Denny, we have to come from servitude. And when you put that in as a core, your questions, the questions that you ask your client will put you in that spotlight, like being more coming from an integrity part. I don't know, maybe I'm just saying it, but
well, it comes from a place of caring, because I posted that on Facebook yesterday, because I've closed a couple of deals where, you know, one couple went through probate, you know, because her mom and dad had passed, you know, so it's not just about selling a home. It's about, you know, taking care of my clients. And then I have another client that closed and she's terminally ill, you know, with cancer, but you would never know it. You know, she always was happy, and just knowing that I cared enough for her, you know, to take care of her through this whole thing. She basically put everything onto me to take care of. That's what I'm trying to get new agents to understand, is that this is not about, oh, I want to make a ton of money and show pretty homes. It's about caring for people, and people don't know how much you care until you show how much you care. And that's why this is such a relational business. It's not transactional at all, in my opinion.
You're right. Absolutely.
So in my earlier, in some of my, like 30-second script call, my outbound calls, and I said, well, and I say, anyone can sell or buy your home. And they would stop on their track. They're like, what do you mean? And that's when I say, well, these are the things, I mean, there are options that you could talk about, and you give them options. You find a solution, you give them that options for them to choose. So I use that.
Well, I appreciate you being on the call today, you guys. It's Friday. It's happy hour somewhere. I'm probably in Houston somewhere, I'm guessing. And hey, listen, if you get into a tight spot, you know, we've got a pretty tight group here. You know how to reach me, Denny, Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. Reach out to me if you have my cell number. You can text me and happy to help you. Liza, welcome. You did an awesome job. Stay with us. We'll never make you feel. We will never make you feel bad. We might rub a little sandpaper on you. However, you're going to come out shinier. All right. So you guys have an awesome weekend. We love you. Mean it. Knuckle bump. Be careful out there. Sandra,
Bye, guys.
Sandra, you're good next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I some
Bye,
patience.
y'all.
Listen, get me in touch with your friend. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.